I can say, working with individuals who have a mental illness who had not been working, and then seeing them grow in their job, and seeing how people start really believing in their ability to recover and to grow, you just are incredibly surprised, and it's wonderful.
Having a mental illness is life-changing, and work is a huge part of people's lives. And in order for them to feel useful and purposeful, it's important for them to feel a sense of contribution to their community and recover as much as they can.
I so enjoy working with an individual and helping them realize a dream, a job, a goal, and then seeing the incredible transformation that takes place in their life.
Watching an individual be given an opportunity to step out of their pain and their discomfort in order to help somebody else out with theirs. That's powerful. That's recovery.
We produce compost for gardens, and we bag the compost for sale. I also drive a skid steer, so there's a variety of things. You know, it's not just one repetitive chore over and over. And this is a nice pace. I'm able to kind of feel my way and just relax. You know, work hard, but not overdo it. I'm learning that about myself, where my limits are, where my endurance limits are. I was a graphic designer for a software company, and a lot of things went strange. You know, I actually had some physical ailments and developing, you know, somewhat chaotic thoughts, I guess. But I was working as a graphic designer during that time that I was going through it, and really not knowing what was happening. It's been over 9 years since I've worked really as a graphic designer. I really wanted to work. You know, I didn't want to just do nothing all day, just sit around. But I think I was too much energy at first, just too gung-ho, I guess, at first, because it took me a few years to realize that I wasn't ready to work. And it's hard, because it's hard feeling comfortable with that. You know, it's hard feeling comfortable with not, you know, wanting to work but not really being ready. I have a job counselor, and he let me know that they were looking for someone, and I met with Holly, and it was a nice conversation, a good interview, and we worked it out. You know, they were very nice in finding a schedule that worked for me. I have children, and I've got a very good schedule with them, so they're a very, you know, big priority in my life. So they were very helpful in finding a schedule that worked for me around my kids.
I met with Kevin, and we hit it off. He's really level-headed, and just sort of all the things I was looking for: a good attitude, you know, strong work ethic, responsible, you know, kind, all the things that I would want in a staff member. So I just had a really good feeling going into it.
I don't mind working hard. I like working hard. It was just a good fit, you know. People were very helpful at first, and very friendly, and made me feel comfortable. And I don't even know if my coworkers know you know, that I'm in this program, I guess. I'm sure Holly does. I know Holly does, but I've had no problems, and hasn't been an issue. It's no different really than when I'm by myself. You know, the stuff that I have, or whatever thoughts I have, you know, they're there, and I try to be aware of them, instead of letting them control me, I suppose. I'm still learning a lot about it because it's been only about 4 years that I've realized that I've had, this illness. I had it for probably 9 years without knowing it, unfortunately. But, like I said, it's really no different than being home and dealing with it, than being at work and dealing with it.
As the manager of this size of an operation, everyone's got something. Kevin doesn't stand out. It's almost like he stands out because I happen to know about something that he's going through, but I have people who've struggled with depression. I've actually struggled with depression. I've have people who have other kinds of disabilities or challenges. It's sort of, it's just a part of things. It's part of life, So I didn't have any worries about it. You just work with people, you just work with them.
I actually look forward to working here. It keeps me involved. I'm not struggling to find things to do, during the day. It's great. It's just a really good place to be. A lot of good folks. It's just a good fit.
Hi, $5 resident of Burlington, $6 non-resident. It's not complicated. All I do is take the parking fees or issue seasons passes, and I have to cash out at the end of the day, and sometimes it's up to $800, and I have to do a bank deposit. And I have a telephone, so I can call my boss, or I call my caseworker or my employment counselor when I need support. And I feel really lucky that I'm here.
I looked through approximately 300 applications, and I narrowed it down to about 10 to start, Carolyn being one of them. And I wanted to have some people that were a little more mature, a little older, a little more experienced. So I called her, set up the interview, called her in, interviewed her. She interviewed very well, and she walked out of the interview knowing she had a job.
He knows I'm disabled, but we never went into what I'm disabled with. I have schizoaffective disorder, so sometimes I hallucinate and audio hallucinations, and I can do this job when they're mild. But I usually make it through the day. I don't have to leave early or anything. I stay until 2:30. But sometimes it can be trying. And I see my boss when I need change, he'll show up, or if the cash register breaks down, or something like that. In the beginning, he was here a lot, but now that it's been a couple months and he knows I know my job, he doesn't come around as often, He trusts me.
She's been a very good worker, very dependable. When we've needed her, we've called her, and she's always said yes to coming in. Very rarely she ever said no. She's good at what she does. She's good at the people. She's good at handling fast-paced, which is another good thing with this particular parking lot. Her cash-ups are usually right on the money, She fits in well wherever we put her. She's easy to get along with. She's easy to work with. She doesn't demand anything. She doesn't ask for much. She just likes to come in, do her job, and if she's had problems, she's not afraid to call, and that's been a good thing. She's been more than up to the challenge of handling the job.
I got sick when my kids were 12, 14, and 8 months old. And my two oldest went to live in North Carolina with their father, so it was really hard to get to see them. So I went to work with the express feeling of buying plane tickets for my kids to come up and visit. And that's what drove me to get my first job after I had my breakdown. I've had other jobs that didn't work out. I tried very hard. I tried to be a waitress again because I was a waitress before I got sick, and that didn't work out at all. And then I also tried dishwashing, and that didn't work out. Well, if things aren't working out with the job, I called my employment counselor, and we get together and we start again with my resume and write a cover letter and look in the newspaper and find a new job. That's how I found this job. And Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but this job is working out fine. It helps me stay regulated in a routine, like I get up in the morning, take a shower, I have days I work, I have days off. It helps me stay regulated on my medication because I don't take my medicine too early in the afternoon. I wait until 6 or 7 at night. And it gives you a sense of purpose and meaning, and you make money, and I just like being here. It's a good place to work.
Well, I wanted something part-time and that I could get to right in town, and the hours were pretty good. So that's the main reason. Working like 4 hours a week, 2 days a week, and it's just to keep the grounds clean. And once I come and get the routine down, I can do my own thing. That's the best thing about it. I can go in and some water if I want it. It's just very peaceful.
Well, this is a person that really had severe symptoms. Not very engaged, not very communicative with people, with anyone, and hasn't worked in probably 10 or 15 years. Very, very symptomatic. And there are a couple of reasons why he got better. I mean, medically he got better. He found a medication that did help relieve his symptoms, but he still experiences them. So the job matching, again, being critical.
Jim Lance approached us from the Howard Center about having a great candidate who liked to work outside, particularly with groundskeeping, and thought we might be a good match. And so it's come to be a perfect pairing, fulfilling the need that we have as for upkeeping the grounds and providing a great workplace, we hope, for Chris. It was full disclosure upon hiring, as well as things to be aware of and how to train. So it takes a little bit of extra patience, but nothing that is extreme.
It's a very good way to use my time, and it's good for structure, it's good for extra income, and it keeps me something to go to, having a structure and a goal to go to, and after the job I can get to do something else.
I think it's been very smooth transition. The Howard Center has kept a nice watchful eye, made sure that he's gotten proper training, and ensured that he was here and punctual, and making sure that the job was getting done, as well as a regular follow-up.
Has he been doing all right?
He has been. He's been showing up, but we've been giving him the reminder calls and calling him in the morning.
When we meet weekly with the employment counselors and discuss the vocational work that they're doing with the clients, then when I meet with Chris, I can bring back to those employment counselors anything that he might not have brought to the meeting because his focus with the employment counselor may be employment. But when he's with me, his focus may be on things that are troubling him. And by bringing them back to the employment counselor, we can collaborate on ways to support him and encourage his strengths. So by having that reciprocal and collaborative relationship, it's a fairly comprehensive treatment support. We're trying to work on encouraging a little more independence for Chris also.
Oh, good.
But I wanted to give you that information in case it does affect his job performance.
Right.
Chris was very independent. He's very polite and very gracious. So I get the impression that he likes it, in that he is very punctual and certainly makes sure that the job gets done, as well as the normal cordial greetings every day. So it's been a pleasant interchange.
He's a very dedicated worker. He enjoys his job. He gets great satisfaction, which is esteem building.
It's important to be a useful member of society, and I'm in there pitching in, I'm associating with other people while I'm drawing a paycheck and being a social member, active, and things like that.
My employer is Fletcher Allen. I've worked here a total of 18 years. It is a full-time assignment. It's 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday, and I sort and distribute mail. I do hand deliveries of important documents. And the other big thing I do is library searches for the attendings, going to the library and pulling articles. Being involved is a really healthy approach. I think it has a therapeutic value. As a person with mental illness, I find I love the ebb and flow of the daily routine. You know, it isn't always easy for a person such as me to get out of bed in the morning and get ready for work and then go through the rigmarole of holding down a job. But you know, there's something to be said for it. It has a profound impact. I think I'm sharper just having tasks to do on a weekly basis. Well, I had a major nervous breakdown right out of college. I'm 46 years old and I was 23, and I had an initial hospitalization, and then there was some adjustment of my meds, and there was a transition time between having a serious psychotic breakdown and moving into the workforce.
Todd is a person that you will find knows everybody at this very large hospital, just about in every department. He's a very well-known person there because he's been there for so long, and he delivers mail, so he's an important person. People wait for him. So there's a lot of positive interactions.
Hi, Pat. Morning, Todd. How are you? Good, thanks. On a personal and social note, it's very enriching. You get to share with your coworkers, you get to learn, and through that, bonds are made of friendship. So, I mean, it's interesting to see a medical community. You know, all the different aspects and facets to a medical community are right here. Most everyone knows that I go to therapy once a week, that I take meds. I mean, the Department of Surgery has been enormously compassionate to me. I personally think that the courier assignment has sort of been dovetailed to my capacity to handle the things that they give me on a daily basis. I mean, I really think they have me in mind when they, you know, ask me to do library searches, and they know I like that. So I think in terms of just being a part of the workplace, being a part of the team, they've showed enormous empathy and genuine appreciation for what I do. I think that you've got to start slow. So it was a good starting point for me because I needed to get out of bed in the morning, and I needed the half-day experience to understand what it was going to be like to be up and running on a full-time basis. But I would say that the structure of work really cuts through a sort of downbeat attitude about things. You know, I want to hold down this job and I need to get to work. Now, my therapist and my psychiatrist let me do what I wanted to do, and I think that really is a very meaningful thing on the part of Howard Center for Human Services, that they really allowed me to make my own decision and made me feel that I was a part of my own decision-making process. Burlington is a fantastic community. It's filled with lots of arts and culture, and Burlington is known for being very liberal. But you know, the stigma of mental illness is very tenuous. Sometimes it feels like it's on the periphery when you don't even notice it yourself. I think it's important to follow your heart in terms of your own interests. I just think that's really at the crux of being able to get back on your feet. There's got to be a willingness for you to want to get involved again. So you start basic, you keep it in simpler terms, you try to be honest with yourself and genuine to who you are, and at the same time, you need to feel the roots of what's possible.
You know, I've been bringing in notices every 2 weeks for the new jobs, and this is the employment notice for the week of May 28th. There's some front desk positions open at the Comfort Inn. They also have openings at the Five Spice Cafe. As I was growing up, despite all the stuff I went through and the turmoils and everything, I was determined to get an education and determined to be independent. So I was very afraid not to work. My ultimate goal was to be in a position where I could help people, and I realized that the more I did jobs that helped people, the more I stayed employed. You know, when I was feeling like that I was making a difference, I kept the job. So that's what led me up to being here.
Motivation is a sensitive thing with me.
A peer trainer educator can be a blessing and a good help. The best thing to do is be able to get to know the people you're working with and be able to reach the people that you're working with. You don't really know what it's all about unless you've been there.
Well, I go through the same thing. This job is pretty much my motivation, so.
Yeah.
I don't care if I get up in the morning and things are not right and I can't move and I can't leave the house. I'm paranoid, I'm scared, you know. Nobody knows any of this. Nobody knows how hard it is for me to just get through the day. I have to go to work. People are depending on me. I gotta help somebody today. I can't let them down. And that gets me going. And once I'm out there, it changes. And I focus on the here and now and the business of the day and what I need to do. And I stay that way until I get home. When I get home is when I can fall apart.
Certainly a peer trainer educator needs to be able to sit down and talk to somebody who's really depressed or really is having a lot of symptoms. And Doris has so much life experience, and she has personally had some substance abuse issues. So one of the things that she's been assigned to do is really connecting with people that have substance abuse or especially presently having some difficulties. So Doris has met in all the group homes, trying to connect with people and give them some hope that they can work again or work for the first time, and really using her own personal work experiences and recovery experiences.
I went to a Westview team meeting and heard her present on a number of her cases and saw the interactions between the other vocational counselors and Doris was able to get from the clients that she works with information and heartfelt self-disclosure that the vocational counselors didn't know.
People feel a little bit more comfortable with me because I'm also a person with a mental illness, so they're able to tell me, well, I don't really want to say no because I feel like I have to please people. And I get to tell them, you don't have to please anybody but yourself. And with that, people end up doing what they want to do instead of what everybody else thinks they should do. I say it because I've done it. I spent a lot of time bagging groceries because nobody gave me a break. You know, so if I can stand up and say, I don't want to bag groceries anymore, you know, and if I can get people to say, no, I don't want to mop floors anymore, that I got a brain, and they don't say nothing about bagging groceries. I want to get into computers, and I really like music, and I want to teach children, and if you give me a break, you'll see. You know, and they really say, you'll see, I can do it. You should see how people go and apply for, I really can do it, and all you have to do is tell me what I need to do, and the job will get done. I don't need much, I don't need to be watched, but I do need to have some training, you know, and the enthusiasm that they have, and that is just being stifled. You know, it's just being stifled.
She is a person that really does believe that people can change and grow regardless of what their past experiences have been.
So a lot of it I like is that I get to go and advocate for people to get employment. I like the part of being able to tell my story and have everybody understand that all people need is a chance. And what if it was you? What if you knew that you had the ability to do anything, but you just weren't given the opportunity?
When she's working, she has a passion for that work. It brings her great esteem, and it helps her feel feel purpose to her life and feel like, okay, I have something to give back. I can truly help people. I know where they're coming from. She's just a great advocate.
I really, really drive home that you need to do a job that you want to do. Because if you do that, they'll feel good about it. I feel good about the job that I do, and that makes me want to get up in the morning, okay? And I'm happy with the job that I do, and that makes me feel good inside, and that makes me feel good about myself.
I think I've changed as a psychiatrist, and that I've realized that being able to work, have a job, get to the job, maintain it, is a very important part of recovery and a sense of recovery. And I think this work program that we have is one piece of it.
For many individuals, recovery is now something that they believe is a possibility for them. And part of that recovery for many people is having a job in their community. And I feel like it's our responsibility as providers to provide that hope.
Working is like a badge of honor. It's something for a person to be proud of. It makes you feel like everybody else. You know, I want to succeed just like everybody else. And that's what work does. You know, when a person comes up to you and says, I want to try to get a job, I really want to work, that's what they're trying to do, is feel like everybody else.